Call the meeting in order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have the agenda in front of us. Is there any additions, corrections, changes anybody would like to make?
If we could, I'd like to change number 6 to after number 9 on the public health search. I see we got some more information this morning.
Okay, that's okay. Is that okay with everyone?
Sure.
Yes.
Number 6 will go behind number 9. Anything else?
If that change, I'd make the motion to approve the agenda.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we'll move on to approving the previous board minutes, the board meeting from September 2nd. Is there any additions or corrections to those?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Work group session minutes from September 9th. Is there any additions or corrections to those?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made to approve and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Next thing is the public comment. This is a chance for anybody in the public who'd like to come forward and make a comment. Okay. That's fine. There was somebody behind you that raised this. That is okay. We'll get you next time. Yep.
What to say about the bigger rig?
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
State your name and where you're from.
my name is Arlen Peterson, and I'm from Houston, Minnesota.
Yep. Go ahead.
And I guess I just have some questions for you is really all I have. Some of you have, I still work for Edina Realty, and I ended up selling some land, at least initially, to the Amish up by Spring Grove. And the Amish would like to come to Houston County, but some of the rules and regulations that you have make it really difficult for them. I will mention, and I only want to mention 2 because they came up. First of all, they are buying some land within 2 miles of Spring Grove, Minnesota. So they could subdivide if they so chose. They don't plan to do that. He bought 95 acres that is within 2 miles of Spring Grove. Now, I do know that the rule on feedlots is you have to be a mile from a community or other businesses is what you have to be. I do understand that. It goes back before any of your time, but I found it interesting that the Caledonia School District bought their land outside of town here, and they were building their school, and then they discovered they were within a half mile of a feedlot. They changed the rule. And this was way before all of your time, so I surely don't blame any of you, of course.
The county
But-
did or the city?
The county did. Yeah, the county changed their rule because they were within a half mile of a feedlot.
Are you sure that was the case or was it they got a variance?
Well, they may have applied for a
I
variance.
think
You're
that-
right.
I think they
You're
didn't
right.
change the rule. They might have
No.
applied for a variance.
They applied for variance, and then, as I understand, all the neighbors have to have a say
Right.
in it. And the neighbors, obviously, nobody objected. So they built the school. There is, I run across at least two properties outside of La Crescent, for example, that are on County 25. One is 3520, County 25. It is more than 2 miles from the city of La Crescent. It is less than the 40-acre rule that you've tended to have in the past. And so that person has, that has a little over an acre. There's another place, 4520, County 25, that is beyond 2 miles. That has 3 acres. And so they haven't conformed with the ruling of the 40 acres, which again, it was probably before most of your time on the board. We in real estate tend to call prime land, and it's got to have a CR rating of either 80 or 90 in order to be prime land. The land that I sold, the 95 acres, is 66 to 74 is what that land is. It varies accordingly with, where it actually is located. And that makes a difference. The gentleman that is purchasing is from out of state. He is Amish, of course, and he's purchasing the land, I think, for his sole purpose himself. He doesn't plan, at least initially. I haven't heard that he plans on selling parcels to other Amish people, because I know your experience is that when they do move into an area, they tend to have 2 or 3 acre parcels. I've never heard him say that. So that wasn't, he has a cousin that has bought the hog feedlot over by Spring Grove. I'm not familiar with it, but he has a cousin that's purchased that. So, and that I don't remember exactly how many acres it is. I don't think I've ever been told exactly how many acres it is.
It's 30-some acres, I think.
Is it? Yeah. What he'll do with the feedlot there, I don't know.
Window factory, you're gonna make windows.
Oh, they make windows? Okay. Yeah, and that's probably what he's brought up to, at least to you, that he's going to be doing. Whether they're living there or not, I don't know.
Can't answer that.
Yeah, I don't know that. I've never been told that. So my question to you more is this okay that the gentleman purchases this land? It's within 2 miles of Spring Grove. If you would like him to subdivide, he could probably do that. Him and I have not talked about that. I just decided to come to you to just see what your reaction was.
Well, first off, we don't get into back and forth in the public comment period, but all I can say to you is that I've talked to Amelia about this, because you called me about this too as well.
Correct,
And this gentleman who wants to buy this 95 acres just to build on his one dwelling for himself. There's never been no discussion of splitting it off,
No,
so I guess there isn't really an issue
okay.
with any of this. I mean, everything's being done properly.
Does he have to be this certain amount of distance from feedlots?
Not for what he wants to build his dwelling, he's fine.
Okay, because there was talk sometime about the house that, and I don't know the names of the people, but Jim Gulbranson sold.
That's on another quarter, so
Okay,
he wouldn't be able to build on that quarter, but he could build on the other quarter.
right.
Right.
And there's what he is concerned about, is that he's pushed to the back of that, you know, that 95 acres that he's looking at purchasing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He'd have to be in the back of that.
Right.
In order to qualify,
Yep.
even though you can subdivide, can't you? In Spring Grove, being you're within 2 miles,
You can subdivide if you plan on putting in a bunch of houses, right?
right?
But I don't know how you'd subdivide on in an Amish community. I mean,
Well, I don't know that he's gonna subdivide.
Yeah.
That we're kind of putting the cart before the horse here,
I just
but,
know that Amelia's on top of this and has spoken with these people, and
yeah,
there doesn't seem to be any issues,
okay,
so.
well,
And the prime farmland is in our rules, prime farmland is anything with any crop history. I mean, that farmland has been farmed for
right.
many,
The
many,
diff-
many years. It doesn't matter what the CER rating is.
Yeah.
It's still considered prime farmland.
What I've noticed, though, is on some of your previous land, if a guy puts a shed up, then where the shed is not prime farmland anymore. And he would have the right to put a shed
If a
up.
person owns 40 acres or more, he can put a shed up on prime farmland.
Right,
He has to have 40 acres.
right. Okay, so he's got to have 40 acres. So what if he were to buy less acres?
Then he has to get a conditional use permit
Okay,
and not be in prime farmland. They'd have to find some pasture or wooded area, wherever, to build on.
okay. So he's pretty much locked in because it's called prime farmland. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay,
This gentleman here shouldn't have any issues. I mean, Amelia said that,
well, he doesn't, except he'd rather not build in the very back. You know, he'd rather be,
For a variance.
so,
can't get a variance on a quarter rule, so.
so can he move farther up
No, he has to stay in the
in the
separate.
quarter section?
Yep.
Even though, so he's required to buy 40 acres?
Well, he's buying 95,
Right,
so he'll have an open quarter to build on.
right, but he will, except if he wants to build something closer, can he do that, is my question,
No,
okay?
not if there's already a dwelling on that quarter.
Because he has 95 acres. He
Right?
can't vary from the 95
See,
acres.
That 95 acres been split off, so that's why there's a dwelling already on that quarter. That used to be part of the original farm, and now it's split.
Correct,
But I mean, for the sake of time, we can discuss, you can talk to Amelia about this some more, and I can talk to you about it some more,
okay,
if you
Okay.
like.
yep, thank you,
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
yep.
Okay. Come forward. State your name and where you're from.
My name is Steve Hartwick. I'm from Money Creek Township. I know that you have a closure coming up for legal advice session. I was wondering if there will be a list of name of the participants that are going to be in this session, and if there will be a record made of those. And I know that's attorney-client privilege meeting, so it's closed, but I also want to know if notes will be taken to keep track of who said what.
Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right. We'll move on to appointments. We have a Smith presentation. Come forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some folders for you all. Is it okay if I?
Sure.
There, very good. Thanks for having me today. I drove from St. Peter, Minnesota, and I always love coming down this way. It's so beautiful, so I really appreciate it. And any extras I'll just gather after the presentation, so. All right. Well, my name is Aaron Johnson. I'm the Philanthropy Director with Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. I'm just here to present a general and brief update on the work that SMIF is doing in your community, here in the county, actually. So I will get going here. To provide just a brief overview of what we do as a refresher for those who already have heard this. So Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation is a donor-supported foundation that invests for economic growth in the 20 counties of South Central and Southeastern Minnesota. Now this includes 175 communities and 1 Native nation. Our key interests include entrepreneurship, early childhood development, and community vitality. So far, SMIF has invested over $170 million in the region since 1986. Starting out with that first key area of focus, entrepreneurship, it is our goal to make sure that entrepreneurs in our region have what they need to thrive. First and foremost, we help them out by being a gap lender. We work in partnership with other organizations to meet entrepreneurs' needs. We can help those who are starting out a business right at the ground floor, all the way up to equity investments. We can do a lot. One of the great benefits of partnering with SMIF on a loan package is even if we are a small part of that, we can provide one-on-one technical assistance tailored to the individual's needs. We also have programming that seeks to allow individuals to overcome barriers, extra obstacles to the world of entrepreneurship. For example, the Prosperity Initiative. This serves individuals like veterans or people with disabilities below the federal poverty threshold and so on. We provide 12 months of one-on-one coaching tailored for that individual. Also, I want to mention REV, Rural Entrepreneurial Ventures Programming. For example, Caledonia is a strong REV community. It's incredible to see what impact that has. This is a program where we come into the community and focus on uplifting your current entrepreneurs. The typical economic development strategy is to attract business from the outside, where this is the opposite. We look at who's here and we want to build up. Moving on to early childhood. Our goal here is to make sure that that children are ready to learn by age 3. It is statistically shown that if they aren't, it is very hard to catch up, and we want everyone to have a chance to be successful members of our communities. Also, as all of you are aware, we're in the middle of a nationwide childcare shortage, meaning that not all of our kids have a place to go with quality care, and this also means that parents have to stay home from the workforce. So, we're tackling this by supporting free develop-approved trainings, both virtually and in person. Develop-approved means that they receive their needed education, their needed accreditation and education by the state standards. So we serve around 1,000 annually this way, and I have some more exact figures I'll just get into in just a moment for Houston County specifically. Also, we have a consultant who will work with a community who wants to examine their shortage needs and develop a plan. This is free of charge, and I can set you up with that individual. Also can be accessed on our website. And finally, we provide grants. For example, our Early Care and Education Grant. This is open to support children with social, emotional support, mental and physical support. Basically, any organizations that work in that capacity with children. Also, many times this translates into additional trainings for providers and professionals. I should mention also that we give out around 30,000 books a year. We partner with Capstone and Abdo publishers out of Mankato, and this is for children to keep and create their own libraries. So, lastly, our last area here, community vitality. Now, this is focused on our smaller communities, typically with populations under 10,000. We have a small town grant program, which is focused on collaboration and belonging and really instilling that into the community. Also, Paint the Town, promoting community beautification, volunteerism, and engagement. We provide the paint for murals, historical structures, and public art, and the community does the rest. And finally, our affiliate fund program, under which we have 147 funds. We are their fiscal host, their 501c3 host. Of those, 33 are community foundations, and this number is only growing, which is exciting. More and more communities are realizing how important to have a community foundation is, especially in this time of transfer of wealth. And so that's a conversation that we're having all over the region. We do all the administrative back office work, allowing local volunteers to raise money and really focus on the mission at hand in the community that are part of that community foundation. I'll just get into some brief numbers here within the last 3 years to give you an idea of our work here in Houston County. So starting out, our early childhood support, our grants, for example, the Early Care and Education Grant was awarded to Ridgeway Community School in the city of Houston. That was in 2023. This project will expand program hours, provide training and materials for social, emotional, physical, and mental health support for 3 to 5 year olds. And
Can you just hold on?
oh yes, of
The
course.
correction on the Ridgeway thing.
Sure.
That's not in the city of Houston.
You know what? Maybe there's a typo. It says Houston. But so yeah.
It might have a
It might-
Houston address, but it's actually in Winona County.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna put that on my notes.
Cool, I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. My apologies for the mistake, but thank you so much. But yeah, just to support the program, that was a $15,000 grant. Also, I'll mention, for example, early literacy grant. Friends of the Houston Public Library, probably again, it says Houston.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, okay, good, we're good. We're awarded 200 English books, again, to hand out to kids over the summer as they attend their Saturday morning story time or weekly Wednesday summer reading program events. That was in 2023, that was $4,000 grant. Moving down the list, because I don't want to read all of them, but I do have a total for you at the end here. The Taylor Rural Grant was awarded to St. Mary's School in Caledonia. That was in 2024. Really what this was is they found out that the limitations for their school by the state, they were not able to offer their pre-K program the free state breakfast lunch program. And so this was basically this came in to help them receive this grant money and cover everything in order to put that program on. That was $8,000 in grant money. And then again, the Early Literacy and Education Grant to Spring Grove Public Schools in Spring Grove, awarded 150 English and 10 Spanish books. And then again to Friends of the Houston, Minnesota Public Library, awarded 200 English and 10 Spanish books, both of those in 2025. So in total, early education, childhood support, grants, $52,400 in the last 3 years. Just wanted to give you that number. Moving down here, early childhood training sessions. So again, these are region-wide. 31 early childhood training sessions were offered in 2023, free of charge. We have around 1,000 attendees. Houston County had 3 attendees to that. Again, that was 2023. In 2024, same thing, except Houston County had 65 attendees, which is fantastic. Early childhood early care technical assistance. We supported 1 early care provider on topics like setting up new child care center providers in Caledonia, expanding the business model really is what that is. So around $6,000 in support regarding early care and education, early childhood development here. So moving here to grants for entrepreneurial support. Basically, numerous grants have been issued. For example, the City of Caledonia received a grant to utilize grant funds to support staff time for an e-navigator that would work in tandem with the Caledonia Chamber of Commerce to provide sustainable continuity for the entrepreneurial work. That was in 2024. They received $20,000 for that. And yeah, just a lot of good work. Kitty's Cafe in La Crescent, Promise Act grant, basically having to onset the cost of some or many items that will help sustain their business. That's what they use that for. So that was a $50,000 support in 2024. Like I mentioned, programming-wise, City of Caledonia is a REV community, which is fantastic. They received a $7,500 stipend from SMIF in 2023, and then again in 2023 for that same amount, so $7,500 again. Moving down the list here, in total, I just wanted to kind of paint a picture of what we've been up to, especially in the last year here in Houston County. And I hope that helped a little bit and provided some clarity. So in total support, we have supported Houston County, and again, we're just supplemental. We know we're not, we're not the ones doing all the work. It's organizations here in the county that are making a difference, and we just value partnering alongside them and supplementing them to whatever degree we can. So in the last 3 years, we were able to pour in $163,339 of leveraged dollar support. Lastly, to conclude my presentation, if you'll see here in the packet, or in your packet, you'll see the county fact sheet. So for every dollar that is donated to the foundation, $12 are invested back into Houston County communities, again, through loans, grants, programming. It's that leverage dollars, which all of you here are familiar with, I know. But that's how we are able to continue bringing that leveraged amount, is through support and partnership, which we really value. 11 loans have been issued to support entrepreneurs, 171 grants to support community projects, and in total, around $2.6 million has been invested by SMIF in Houston County. That is to date. So again, on the back, you'll see more examples of some of the work we've been doing. I always like to point out at the very bottom, 1,100 children supported, 39 entrepreneurs have been supported as well. So that brings me to the very last part. I just wanted to, again, thank you all for having me today. It means a lot, and I'm humbled to be here. As I'm a year into my role, and as I travel around our region, I'm amazed at what I see and love what I do. So I really believe in it. I hope that the impact is felt, and again, if you have questions, I will love to answer them. Our ask is that you would keep us in mind and consider us for the budget in fiscal year of 2026. We ask for a 5% increase, bringing that to $3,937 in contributions. Thank you.
Okay. So Tim Penny has retired.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. That was the first thing I wanted to say. I didn't have my coffee this morning. Yes, Tim retired. That's the big news I wanted to share with you, especially Tim has retired. Benya Kraus has stepped up as our new CEO and president. So exciting times, as hard as it was to say goodbye to Tim, what a great joy and honor it was to get to know him personally. Benya is fantastic, and Benya is rural through and through, comes from Wasika, so she calls Wasika her home, and also Bangkok, Thailand. So 6th generation farmer. Her family has a 6th generation farm in Wasika. But yeah, I mean, that is the core of what she is all about, is rural initiatives, small towns especially, carrying on that legacy very strongly on behalf of Tim and SMIF as well. So yes, would love for you all to meet her at some point. I'm sure she would love to meet you too. She actually lives in Harmony. So Harmony is where yeah.
Half an hour.
Yeah, so when I say rural, yeah, I want to move to Harmony, Lanesboro, so anyway. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
There's some Smith folks in Spring Grove today too, so,
Okay.
Yes,
which is in Houston
that's
County.
right. Yep, that's right, yep.
Well, there's been a
She's
lot
there
of.
today.
What's that?
She's there today.
Oh, Benya is. Okay, that is news to me. I did not know that.
Well, it sounds like you guys had a lot of changes, not just Tim leaving, but there's been some staffing changes, or not?
So some retirements have happened, yes, yep, and we've actually just hired on, so we've filled every vacant position, I believe, now. Yep, so, yeah, our staff and they're wonderful additions.
Okay.
Kind of a seamless transition in that regard, but,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Good
Thank you.
information.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
and giving your presentation.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate what you guys do, so.
Thank you. You too, really. I mean it.
All right, next up is our closed session. Is that something we should do now? Sue, are you?
I can do it later.
So we could go through some of the agenda action items? Okay, if that's okay, or,
Yeah, let's do it.
People are here, that would be great.
yep. All right, consent agenda, we have one item. Any questions on that?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, action item number one, consider approving a contract with Eagleville to purchase aerial imagery to be flown in 2026 and authorizing signatures for Eric Schmidt to do. So Eric couldn't make it this morning. And so, Tammy, you just want to give everybody a brief update? I know Bob and I have heard this at land use about this.
Yeah, so what we're looking to do is amend the contract with Eagle View, which is pictometry, to opt out of the change finder, which is like the changes you see in the buildings, between two flights. And then upgrade to 3-inch resolution in the city of Caledonia and La Crescent instead of the 6-inch resolution that we've had in the past. There is like a $700 savings, and we haven't done the 3-inch resolution since 2020, I see, and that's when we had a lot of leaf cover. The assessors had used the change finder in the beginning, but they haven't been utilizing it, and this would be beneficial for them. We did look into Fillmore and Winona County to see if we could partnership with them for the aerial, but they're on a different schedule, so their next flight is 2025. There'd be a minimal savings to do that, but
It doesn't coincide with our timing.
yeah, you'd have to,
Spending more money, try to get on the same schedule than we would be saving, so.
Theirs is this year as well? 2025?
yeah.
theirs was, and ours is 26.
Ours
Oh,
is
okay.
26.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So they're already,
They're already flew,
Yep.
so we'll be on opposite,
Right,
or a year off. Yeah.
and at our land use committee, the assessor's office and the zoning office were good with this change. To go to a 3-inch, was it 3-inch resolution, I believe?
Yeah,
Yep. And get rid of the change finder, so.
You said that's a savings of 700?
yeah, it's about $700 savings.
Yeah, and this is just to authorize Eric to sign off to make that change. He'll come later for the final contract, I believe.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve.
Is that correct, Carol? Is it?
yeah, that's what it states.
I don't know, he said this morning, he's still coming back to get final signature, but
It's authorizing signatures.
on the whole thing, the 2026.
Maybe this is just part of it.
Yep. But anyway, it's giving him the permission to sign off if we approve of it. And,
I'll second the motion.
okay,
I've already seconded it.
Oh, you did?
Oh.
I thought you
Doug
made the
did.
motion. Oh, okay.
you made the motion?
I did.
Greg seconded it.
Okay, Greg did.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, good enough.
you.
Thank you.
Number two, considering approving an interim use permit for Chase Johnson to operate a cannabis microbusiness in the Agriculture Protection District in Sheldon Township. Amelia.
Good morning. So on August 28th, the Planning Commission met and reviewed a few different proposals, one of which was this proposal for a cannabis microbusiness to conduct cultivation operations. This particular location is off of 76, but they are not directly on the highway. And he has also been operating a hemp business for the last, I think he said 5 or 6 years. And so really this change will not, visually there will not appear to be any change in operation. He stated at the Planning Commission meeting that the only way to see the difference will be by testing plants. So the Planning Commission reviewed this. There was just a little bit of discussion, but ultimately they didn't have any issues with the proposal. They did add a third condition on top of our standard 2 that the perimeter fence around the grow area shall be 8 feet high, and that was to match the cannabis business that was reviewed last month. So,
Yeah, we had a discussion at the planning commission on this. Chase had a very good application here and seems to be knowing what he's doing. He's done it before. He's been in the business, so. I know, that third condition, so can you explain that, Amelia? The state requires what, a 6-foot fence?
yep, the state requires a 6-foot fence. The previous one that was reviewed was right on a state highway, and so there were concerns specific to that site that that made the planning commission ask for a fence that was a little bit higher. And so they felt that it was fair that they should continue on that requirement for this proposal as well.
The previous business was along the highway on 16 there. It was 8 foot plus a angled barb at the top of that, right?
Yeah, correct.
So the 8 foot in this one is just a strict regular 8 foot. That's the way I understood it.
Yep, we just set it at that upper threshold. No angled barb required.
So it's the same height? So it's the same height?
Same height,
Yep.
just doesn't have the barbed wire at the top, so. And this is, maybe, Chase, would you like to come forward and talk about this? Cause.
Good morning.
You want to explain the fencing issue or the requirement?
Sure.
It's an outdoor grow, correct?
It is an outdoor grow.
Yep.
We've been growing hemp for 7 years under the state licensed. We've been licensed by the state, tested, all of that. The state does require a 6-foot fence. The planning commission did ask for the 8. I would like to ask that we revert back to the 6, for a number of reasons. I don't know if you want me to go through that or you discuss our conversation. I'm asking to go back to the 6 for a number of reasons, one of which is the state has been very strict on all of their rules. So far, they have come up with 6 foot as the fencing height. Houston County currently does not have an ordinance stating 8 feet. So it kind of gives an opportunity for each site to be looked at independently. Our site is 3/4 of a mile off the highway. We have no public view. The public at any point cannot see our field. And we have a locked gate and a 3/4 mile driveway to get back to it. So 6 foot really, in our opinion, is extremely, it meets the state requirements. Not to mention the fact that by going to an 8-foot fence, it will add tens of thousands of dollars to our installation cost, just to go from 6 to 8 feet. We're looking at about 50 to 60,000 for a 6-foot fence. We would be looking at closer to 80 for an 8-foot fence. And like we've mentioned before, we've been doing this for 7 years. We have had 0 problems. All of our neighbors know what we're doing. They are all very supportive. And again, we are not visible from the public right away. So the higher you build the fence, the more visible it becomes. And there's nothing that sticks out in an agricultural district more than a galvanized steel fence out in the middle of a field. So just hoping that everybody can consider that. We would really appreciate it just from a cost standpoint. Not to mention, we do like to be discreet in everything that we do. And to draw attention is not something that we want to do.
How many feet are you talking here?
We're looking at least 1,500 lineal feet of fencing. And it could be as high as 2,000, depending on exactly how our field lays out. Because we have to have enough room to run equipment on the inside. You know, it's not fence to fence plants, so.
I mean, what you stated was accurate, that we don't have a requirement in our ordinance, but that gives us the flexibility to look at each project independently and do what we feel is best. I know the reason for the 8-foot fence with the angled barb for the Highway 16 project because it's right along a major highway. And that was to surround some greenhouses. That's a very small parcel too, so it wasn't gonna be a lot of feet, but make a good point on the 6 foot for you because you're a lot further off the highway. There's a feeling of the planning commission to be consistent because we required them to get 8 foot with angled barb. This was just 8 foot regular for you, but it isn't quite consistent, but.
So what's the difference in the angled barb? Is that 2 feet or?
That adds another height to it.
So it's in
another,
addition?
It's another addition.
Yeah, so is it 8 foot and then the angled barb or is it
Yes,
8 foot altogether?
Yes, 8 foot plus the angled barb. And that was just for security reasons along a major highway.
But if you're basing your 8-foot fence along the major highway and he's 3/4 of a mile back and the state of Minnesota says it's 6 foot, why don't we follow the state of Minnesota?
I think that's what he's asking, so.
I know what he's asking.
Snooze can't get over an 8-footer.
Who?
Snooze.
Yeah, I think that's, so planning commission, any other discussion from, or points that they're, who's recommending this? Your office or the planning commission, as far as 8 foot versus 6 foot?
Oh, the perimeter fence came from the planning commission. Like Eric said, in an effort to be consistent.
And what's the previous one before that? So this is 2 examples.
Yeah.
So what's the consistency with previous fence height? Do we have any?
Oh, this is only our second one, right?
Yeah. I don't know if, and I don't know, like prior to cannabis, that we've had anything really similar to compare to.
I think it's an interesting comment about the obvious. The fence makes it, higher fence makes it more obvious, you know, by 2 feet. That's kind of a different way of looking at it.
We don't have an ordinance in Houston County right now of what size fence? We don't have an ordinance?
No, we don't address fencing specifically in our ordinance.
So it's strictly just the state's
It was a
requirement.
condition.
Yeah.
Should we put on?
It was a condition.
A recommended condition.
Could I say that the vote was 3-2, but it would have been 5-0. A couple of them didn't agree with going from 6 to 8 foot. So yes, it was approved that way, but it wasn't a majority, or I guess it was a majority, but it wasn't, not everyone agreed, I guess.
Well,
Oh, the planning commission approved it with an 8-foot fence, correct?
correct.
As a condition.
Condition.
Yep.
So do we want to pull that condition or do we want to follow the planning commission's advice?
Uphold the what?
We want to uphold the planning commission's recommendations or do we want to change?
That's what you guys need to decide, right? The plan commission was to recommend the approval of the interim use permit and with the 3 stipulated conditions.
So there's no barbed wire on it.
No,
So the only difference would be 2 feet of chain link that's gonna stick up. So if someone's gonna climb 6 foot, they're gonna climb 8 foot.
And cost him possibly $30,000 more above what the state requires.
In addition to the eyesoreness of
8-foot
making it
fence,
more visible.
right?
Based
Just
on,
being there's no barbed wire on it, I really don't see a lot of difference between an 8 foot and a 6 foot, to be honest.
And the fact that he's 3/4 of a mile off the road, it's nowhere near, it's not the same apple to apple.
it's not.
Because I'm assuming that the state requirement is to try and keep people and things out of there, correct?
Correct.
So without the barbed wire, I don't see a lot of difference between the 6 and the 8 if someone's gonna climb the fence myself, as, you know, just throwing common sense into the equation. I would be more apt to think the state would have wanted barbed wire on top of it, but that's obviously not a requirement, so.
And their requirement is 6 feet, right?
Correct.
Right.
So, and if we look at it case by case, individual, we're obviously pushing the 8-foot because it's next to the highway and it's more accessible. So therefore,
For
you
the
have to have
previous,
that barrier.
for the previous one, yeah, it was right next to a major highway, and it was a small parcel, and so,
Every application is gonna be different.
Right, so they should be by case.
and that's why we don't have a set
Ordinance.
ordinance.
So if it's case by case basis, I would make a motion that we actually leave it at the state limitations for this one. And because of where it's located, also because of the, if we're not allowing or not recommending that they have barbed wire to reinforce that barrier, I'm fine with that.
That's a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the interim use permit with the 3 conditions, with the change to the 3rd condition of 8-foot chain link fence to a 6-foot, which is required by the state.
So just so that I have the language correct for the order and permit, can I just say perimeter fence around the grow area shall meet state requirements?
That.
Yeah,
that's
that's
your
what,
Minimum state
that's what I'm
requirements?
saying.
Is
That's
that,
fine.
okay. I just want to make sure I have,
Thank you
exactly
for
what's being
restating that.
And if the state would ever change it, we'd have to,
Great.
We can address if the state changes it.
But by doing that, is that gonna set us up for where we do require more, like we did with the previous one?
You mean limit or
We
requirements?
required more of a fence because of the major highway closeness?
And I think if we have a location that's very much like that again, then we do the same thing.
Again,
Require 8
case
foot.
by case.
Yeah. That's all, that's my point.
Okay.
I think this is a different case,
Doing now is case by case.
Right, I agree.
since we don't have an ordinance. If we followed the ordinance, or if we had one to follow.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right,
Thank you very much.
good luck.
thank you.
Brian, that's news for me, will you?
Please do. Number 3, consider signing the State Aeronautics Maintenance and Operations Grant for Airport Maintenance Reimbursement and approving resolution number 25-31. It's a 2-year agreement or grant beginning July 1st until June 30th. July 1st, 2025 until June 30th, 2027. The grant provides 75% match of $24,662.12 for eligible expenses. Ryan.
Yeah, so this is a grant agreement that we approve every other year for the airport. Covers 75% of the cost for a lot of the maintenance and operations. So when we do the snow removal, mowing, cleaning the bathrooms, internet, or phone line fees and stuff, it covers those costs. Doesn't cover all of our stuff. Some of the stuff's considered ineligible, but it does cover the majority of the operation out there at the airport.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion made and second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Number 4, consider adopting resolution number 25-23, final acceptance of the CP 2025-01 contract number 339 with the Brunig Rock Products for aggregate stockpile deliver maintenance rock. Total cost is $396,976.65.
Yep, so this one, the original contract amount was $339,093.90. But this is one of those projects that the board approved additional funding to go toward this. Our original budget for this line item was $400,000. So the total work certified was at $396,976.65. So that's right in line with what the board approved previously.
And it was budgeted for 400,
Originally it was 400.
a little bit under. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you. As long as we got you here.
Oh, maybe you didn't.
Not quite.
Good try.
You weren't quite fast enough.
Give us a little update on the gravel cup thing, Brian.
Okay.
We've had back and forth discussions here this past week, and so I'll do that.
Yeah, so, so the last time I think the board, had the meeting discussions with the Gravel Cup National, or the Gravel National Championship, the city of La Crescent was still working on, an agreement with Mayville Township on the route of which was gonna go, and still working on a traffic control plan that was acceptable to both Sheriff Swedberg and myself. Since that time, the city of Caledonia, and Mayville Township has worked out a route essentially. The 110-mile route was going to go across the southern portion of Malay Road over to County 32, up onto County 3, over in Angus Drive over to County 20. That portion of the race has now been eliminated, and the 110-mile route is going to have 9 miles cut off of that, and they're going to follow the same route through Mayville Township as the 74-mile route. So they're going to go up, Pleasant Ridge Road over to Crazy Corners, over west on County 3, and then north on to Malay Road up to County 20. So that long section is going to be reduced a little bit, but both Mayville Township and the city of La Crescent are in agreement on that. They don't want to, upset any townships. The bike race organizers aren't super fond of that reduction, but ultimately that's a solution that's been agreed upon. So that's how they're going to race. The Explorer Lacrosse has been putting together a mailing list. They plan on mailing everyone that was going to be along the race route a flyer that says that there's going to be a bike race going past their house. So for most people, when the bikes go past their house, it's going to be within an hour or two in the morning, depending on where they are within that route. So there might be a few individuals that receive a flyer on that section of roadway that's going to be eliminated. So I made sure the township's aware of that. So if the township officers get any phone calls on that, they can say, yes, I got a flyer on it, but the race won't be coming back there past their place on this other section that got cut off. The comments that I got submitted back to the city for updating the traffic control plan that both Sheriff Swedberg and myself would like to see changed. They've been made on the plans. I got an updated traffic control plan late yesterday afternoon, so I'll be reviewing that, and hopefully we can get the permit out to the city in the next day or two. So overall, it's kind of lining up that way. I think they're still looking for volunteers, but things are filling up a little bit for them, so.
Yeah, I got a text message from Jim Longhurst, who's a volunteer for the route committee. And he mentioned that he just hand delivered 450 to 500 flyers over the last 2 days on the route. And including through Mayville Township, so. Sounds like they've been getting out there and notifying people anyway, making an attempt, so.
Good.
All right. Any questions?
No, Bob actually and I both attended a emergency management session last week. There's another one tomorrow, the last one before the race, and it sounds like they're getting their communication plan a bit more aligned with what they need at this point, and also more volunteers at the time. And also I talked to a Winona County commissioner that had not been approached, and Winona County had limited information about their route in the north area. So they were gathering more information from La Crescent about that before the race in a few days. So hopefully everybody's been notified soon, because it's coming up in less than 4 days. So.
Right. Getting down to the wire.
Yeah.
I also got a call from that commissioner, and I reminded her that we didn't get notification of their ride that's happening the same day, so.
Yes, I heard
Comes
that.
into our,
Yeah.
I heard that.
So,
yeah.
that.
Well,
we're
I
missing
think
some communication is what's happening.
Yeah.
their sheriff's office and their county engineer knew about this,
Right.
though, so.
I think
that was-
the people that need to know.
Yeah, they were
Most of them
involved in the planning,
Right.
I hear.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks for working on that.
Are
you riding?
You were on the patrol that day?
No, I will not be around that day.
Will be participating, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Fine.
All right, number 5, consider approving a 2025 property tax abatement of $3,558 for Leonard Weiser.
Morning.
Morning.
So I guess it's actually gonna be for 2024,
Oh, okay.
property tax abatement, so my apologies on that. So this one is wrapping up all the, Weezer stuff. I actually had thought that we already took care of this, but didn't, I guess, so that's why I'm bringing it here. And it's over 3,000, so it has to come to the board. This is the one where the house was, it's the cabin that they used to use for rental. I think they do a little bit still, but their daughter lives in it as well. So it was on a parcel that was in Sheldon Township as well as Yucatan Township. It was on both. So this is the abatement to correct that for the year 2024. We were able to change it for 25 in time before, so it didn't become an abatement for 25. So that's what this one is for, is just to correct that 24 year.
So it's for one of the cabins.
Yeah, the one that their daughter lives in.
Daughter is living in it now, so they do not
Yeah.
rent it out for,
Yeah, so they still maybe rent it out on a weekend here or there, but their daughter is living in it, and homesteading it as their, her homestead, so.
So this is a correction to it?
Yeah, so this is a correction to that. Weren't aware that their daughter was living in it and that it was basically being accounted for on 2 different parcels.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
any further discussion? So this, just so I'm clear here, this isn't that garage with the living, or that was,
No, that's part of
that's part of their,
venue type
yep,
thing.
okay,
Yeah, this is the
a cabin.
bigger, like the log cabin, bigger.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
All right. Number 6 is gonna be moved to behind number 9.
7.
Number 7, consider approving a $10,000 EDA loan for Caledonia Bakery expansion project. The rate would be 3.5% over a 10-year term. Allison.
Yes, so the Caledonia Bakery is expanding. There'll be a construction project happening on the back end of the bakery. And the EDA board has unanimously recommended a $10,000 EDA loan.
Yeah, it's a good project. She's adding on another section of her building for storage, to put her, basically her appliance stuff. And so they can keep it in a cooler environment versus, because they like to keep their baking area
More production area, separate.
humid, warm, good for the dough and making of the good donuts and everything else, so.
Warm in there.
And the EDA felt that this is something we want to participate in to help support their local business in Caledonia here.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consider and review payments, approving payments. Any questions on those?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Number 9, consider budget discussions and budget reviews. Carol.
Brian Swedberg will be coming over to go through his and have a little discussion on maybe what he's found out on Spring Grove. But so after the work group session and changes that we've made and eliminating the possibility of levying for the 2027 increase for human services, it is down. You can see we're on the middle section now.
Okay.
The yellow.
Section. You flip it over, you can see kind of the changes that include the fund balance usage for highway department and human services. And there were, changes that were discussed in the general revenue fund, but we also found out that there were decreases in some of the revenues, including the feedlot grant.
Yep.
Went from 56,000 down to 20-some, a reduction of $19,000. There were other changes, so it ends up that the changes for the general fund as of this point is just $5,897. We did discuss having our, some of the improvements that are in the building maintenance departments taken out of the capital expenditure money that we have, but I haven't been able to get together with Brian to see exactly what that might entail. That would probably be around $120,000 that we would reduce the general revenue fund levy.
How much do we have in the capital?
It's like around 320.
320?
320.
Okay.
That's in the capital fund?
But it's not necessarily in a capital fund right yet, it's part of the general fund, but
Right.
we're getting it moved so that we can have
Understand.
Okay.
that way. I had given you also, the IT budget had increased, significantly. We had used part of the ARPA money for some of the expenditures, the $46,000. So taking that out and the increases that he has in the items that I've given you the sheet for, he will certainly come and discuss these with you, feeling that they're all fairly necessary expenditures based on the ransoms that we've had within the state and making sure that our data is
Secure.
So if you wanted him to come up and discuss these, we could call him. I don't know what, all
Sure,
of these
well-
are, the list.
He can probably get here faster than Brian, maybe.
Able to come?
I think any changes from the last time it was presented would be what I'd like to see. I mean, did he make some
He
changes?
didn't make
to
a
his-
presentation.
Okay.
He had just, supplied this list of,
So the list is the same, right?
the list is what I gave
Okay.
you before. But if you look at, the bottom line of the IT budget, it increased
Yeah,
considerably, $128,000.
yeah.
Were you texting him?
Yes.
Okay. Then I won't email him.
I'm a slow texter.
Okay.
He's probably listening too, who knows?
I'm thinking, well, Brian was watching too, so he should be,
So
both.
basically, we're at, after CPA, that's the county program aid that we get from the state. We're at a 8.95 levy increase.
Right. So down below shows you if the board increased the levy by 2%, if it was by 4%, by 6%, by 8%, what our budget deficit would be.
So if we did a
Just to give you those.
8% levy, our deficit would be $153,000.
Yes, without making any changes, any additional changes. Taking that $100,000 off, so it wouldn't.
So down there on the 8% example of levy increase, it's $153,676, but
deficit.
You don't include the CPA on that number, or what? Or, because it says 0 there. I mean, help me understand that.
Okay, so,
You got the total
so
levy, the
you're not
CPA
doing it,
number.
on the bottom, you're not doing a comparison to last year's?
Okay,
Down below, it's, like, if you look at the first column, it's the amount of the requests. The second column is only that, the bottom lines. It doesn't show the change from last year.
well, I guess it doesn't matter, because either way, I mean, because an 8% levy increase, you'd have a total levy of 17,479,387. Then you do minus the
Right.
CPA of 1,389,892. That gets you the 16,008,9495,
Right,
which leaves you a $153,000 deficit.
yeah. Based on the requests versus the calculated
Right.
levy.
So the CPA is the same amount, no matter what percent of the levy.
So just theoretically, if we were to do a 8%, oh, Andy's here.
And so is Brian.
Oh, they're both here, okay. An 8% levy, preliminary levy. Do we have fund balance? We'd be already using the road and bridge fund balance and the,
And part of the, $100,000 of the human services.
right? Is there any other fund balance left?
The general fund
General
has
fund
their
is-
fund balance,
How much
correct.
is that?
Probably around 8 million. That we have to have,
And
well,
we
and a
need-
portion of that we have
need
to carry over.
50% of that 8 million, or
50% of our,
50% of our total levy.
We need 8 million.
We need to have for just backup. I mean,
Right,
that's
for cash-
the rule.
cash
Is
flow.
it 50 or 40?
it's between 45,
40 and 50.
40 and 65, or 40 and 65, 45 and 60.
Mhm.
And we choose to have 50%.
Okay,
Is that what the city does? Is 50%?
all right.
Standard.
All right, Andy.
Worksheet handy, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Aye.
Okay, justify your numbers there, Andy.
Oh.
Here's your
Numbers
Cheesy,
first.
great. Okay,
I gave them that sheet that shows.
where's the big numbers that go up here? Health insurance, wages, all that jazz,
I did go through the fact that we used ARPA, and you don't get that anymore, so that's $46,000 right there.
just lost 46,000 there. So, other than that, I mean, the big things that went up, hardware, let's see, looks like, contract services, software license renewal support, those are the big ones. Other than losing the fund balance of the ARPA. I guess, we'll start with the hardware. I sent a list of the big expenditures. We do a computer rotation. I pay for quite a few of the computers in the county. Health and Human Services pay for their own computers. The Recorder's Office pays for their own computers. We try and do a rotation of every 5 years. Some have gone a little longer, some have gone a little shorter. We kind of tailor it by need and use. I got 18 on the books for next year. Countywide, we have 180 computers. So I mean, with the stuff that the Human Services has budgeted and what we have budgeted, it's about 20%, a little, I think it's slightly less than 20% of our computers, to keep the hardware rotation going. That line item also accounts for our servers, our network switches, printers, any piece of hardware that, we have. I do have some aging servers. One of the things I have in here is our backup server, which in this day and age, I can't tell you how mission critical it is to keep it going, and we don't want to be without it. I also have on here some Toughbooks. Toughbooks, they are the computers that go in the squads. We did half of them this year. We're doing the other half next year. Tough books are significantly more expensive. They withstand the elements, sit out in squads, take abuse. You've seen them, they're ruggedized, big, heavy things. I take care of the computers in the squads, the rest of the hardware within the squad. When it gets outfitted, that's the sheriff's office that takes care of that. So that's in there. Miscellaneous hardware, that can be anything from someone broke a scanner, a broke monitor, something like that, or monitor dies. So that's what the miscellaneous hardware is. It could be replacing hard drives, could be lots of things that just add up. Tapes, this is our backup infrastructure. When we do many backups. All of our data is backed up every day, multiple times. One thing that we do to help protect against specifically ransomware or a fire is air-gapped backup. Air-gapped backup means it's not online, it's not connected to anything. So it is removable media that has all of our data. So if we did have a ransomware attack, I have tapes that cannot be ransomed because they've been removed, they're air-gapped. I buy a new set of tapes probably once every 4 years. They are reusable. We keep them cycling through, but tapes are very cheap insurance to me. Having those tapes helps me sleep at night based upon what's going on in the world. Data repositories, that's another type of backups. That's an online backup. So, for example, when we back up all of our data, it goes to a disk repository that's online, and then we make a copy of our repository onto tape. That's ultimately how our backup works. Some of these other offices need to keep a repository that goes longer, that's online. A file gets deleted out of a network drive or something like that, and it was within a time window where our volume shadow copies don't cover it. I know that's getting technical. Going to an online backup is how we can get it back in a timely fashion. Tapes, they do go back that far. However, restoring from tape is significantly longer and more time. These are boxes that consist of multiple hard drives. There's a bunch of disks inside that are spinning. They go bad, they wear out, they fail. This is just to replace some of our repositories. We have, 6 Buffalo Terra stations right now that are very old. This is going to replace 2 of them. Land use copy machine, yeah, that one's a bummer. Copy machines, they wear out. We do purchase our copy machines. We own them, but then we pay for a maintenance contract through Loeffler. New copy machines, price per print is much lower than old copy machines. As a copy machine approaches about 1 million copies, we look at replacing it because Loeffler then will give us a better rate for the copy machine. And then also, when we start to have a lot of breakdowns on the copy machines, getting parts is sometimes hard to find because they get discontinued, and it just causes more downtime, I guess is the best way to say it. But our rate.
Have you looked at the cost, the difference in leasing a copy machine?
Oh, yes.
And also purchasing?
Oh, yes. Typically leasing is, I guess I'd say something you do if you're cash poor, if you are doing it, because they're making interest on you. They're paying for, and we used to lease, and we had found that our payback was in 2.5 years on a machine based upon the leases. We have machines that are pushing, I think the one that's getting replaced this year is pre-COVID, it must be 7 years old. So it's definitely, we've come out ahead in that deal.
Okay.
So yes, we have checked into that. So that's the hardware. And that's, I think that's what, $28,000 increase right there. The next thing is I'm going from the bottom up, I'm sorry, contract services. I use a vendor called Morse Electronics. They are widely used throughout the state. I call them in on a need basis. I don't have a huge consulting budget, but I think I have them twice this year. And they do some remote support for us as well. I'd love to say I'm a master in everything, but I'm certainly not. And so when I need help, these are the people I call. One of the things I'm including in this is I want to start doing routine pen testing. And what that is that I can look at the screen, look at it every day, and when I'm configuring it to what we need to do, I might be missing something, So I want someone to double check my work and say, hey, this is good or this is not good. I think that's going to be crucial when it comes down to cybersecurity. best efforts, but a second set of eyes with someone who deals with this, I think is very important. So there's an increase for that, because in a perfect world, I'd just hire a full-time cybersecurity specialist. But that costs a lot more, so.
Be a lot more money.
That'd be a lot more money, so I think this is a fairly reasonable compromise.
It's also as needed, which is great.
As needed, right, we do have an on-call contract with them. On-site time, project time is very good, but yes, it is also as needed. Software license renewal support, that one covers a large gamut of things. And if you've got this spreadsheet looking at it, it talks about some different things. The BCA makes us jump through a ridiculous amount of hoops. CGIS data is near and dear to their hearts. Because of this, we have to actually buy some very expensive stuff. One of the things that was relatively expensive, and I'm sure every one of you love, is multi-factor to get on your computer. That isn't because I'm just like, how can I ruin your day today? It's because it's a big deal. These accounts are part of the Microsoft tenant, which is a cloud-based service. Our email is all cloud-based now. The hocomin.gov exists on the cloud, and we need to make sure that those accounts don't get compromised. I'm sure you've all heard of accounts getting compromised from other agencies saying, don't click on an email from me. Well, those emails, if we do click on them, they get into our accounts and they get into our systems. And what the multi-factor does is it prevents lateral movement. So it keeps it isolated to your system. And without it, we do lots of things to prevent lateral movement. They could move laterally. It'd be easier for them to move laterally, let's put it that way. And a lateral movement is when you have a Mauer County. We don't want a Mauer County situation, Mauer County situation. All right.
Or a St. Paul.
Or St. Paul, or state of Nevada, or, I mean, the list of, make no mistake, we are in a cyber war right now. It just is.
Yep.
I mean, they are literally attacking us at our infrastructure.
So are any of these new, or is this just because of increased prices of the services?
Well, the Cisco threat defense that we got, you see it's a $0. I got that through a grant. That was through emergency management. But of course it has a $0. Anything that was new this year that we didn't have to pay before, our website, that is a new cost, changing how we do that. Microsoft, we pay Microsoft about $48,000 a year. We have for a long time. That's just Microsoft getting their chunk of the pie. No, actually, this stuff. The Microsoft O365, that's Veeam. That is new this year. That is backing up the data that is in the cloud back to a local copy. So if that gets compromised, we still have that data.
How much is that?
That's $4,000. Other than that, that's about all the same. Prices go up. If you notice, a lot of these things you see with software vendors, they like to say, oh, we're going to raise our price by 10% for the maintenance. It's pretty common, and they just keep creeping up. All of these pieces, software titles, ultimately we'll be able to get rid of Zoom. The roadmap is to remove Zoom and strictly adopt Teams. That's $4,500. We're not quite there yet, but I mean, these are the things that are on the budget that are big increases.
Keep us going.
The rest of them are, well, like that fund balance applied. And one of the reasons that got applied, we started with CARES and then we got ARPA. It's great, free money. Well, it's time to 5 years out now, and now what? Now
No more free money.
Right. So this bubble was coming. We knew it was. Yep. And I'd like to say that we've done a pretty decent job leveling it off. We've tried to stretch some computer lives, make some go longer, but at the end of the day, it was coming.
And the county website, I think it's a good investment to
absolutely
fix that and improve that. So
the current one is written in-house. I mean, we're not web developers by trade. We just did what we could to be cost effective.
Yep.
But we've gotten to the point now where it's going to be, ambulance chasers, if you will, ADA compliant, stuff like that. Just we're government, we have a target on our back.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions on Andy's?
Nope, good.
You're good.
Well, it's not great.
All right.
You explained yourself very well, Andy.
Yes, yes.
All right, good, thanks.
Even though you're a Packer fan. We're
Back home.
Hey.
Wait a minute, don't you live right next to Packer Drive?
There's a reason why I got called that. All right, Brian, is he's
He just stepped out. He was here. He left us.
We got number 9, where we got,
Brian yet?
we got Brian?
So the Spring Grove contract hasn't been decided yet, right? I believe that comes this week,
Their survey ended
today, or yesterday.
yesterday.
Okay.
I guess we should have took him first.
Yeah. Get called away. He's not out there.
Take a 5-minute bathroom. Do a 5-minute bathroom break?
Maybe
What's that?
Let's take 5 minutes to go to the bathroom.
We can take a 2-minute break, sure.
Who's on, boy, you're pushing it.
We'll take
1
whatever it
minute
takes.
back and 1 minute.
We'll do a 3-minute recess.
Okay, good. That's fine.
It's been kicking down there, you unplugged me.
You just did that yourself.
I seen your legs going.
Yeah.
Nope, now he's back.
Oh, there he is.
Batteries. We're in a short recess right now.
Okay. So I need to run back over then. I do need to run back over. I walked.
So you have your,
Did mine there. I have printed out in my computer. I can't see either.
okay. So have you, well, I guess, White, been in contact with the city of Spring Grove?
Yes.
What do they want? They want one officer.
They don't have so much money.
Hmm?
They don't have so much money, they say. So we're still discussing it. And they haven't voted on it yet. It's still in their budget.
Did they have a lot of people return the survey thing, do you know?
I don't know. Recently.
Because it was yesterday, it was supposed to be in.
Last day, okay. When I talked to them last week, they like,
See,
that doesn't mean nothing.
the guy that won that 100 grand, was it for you?
No.
Where's he
On
at?
Lescapede.
Oh. He lives in Caledonia there?
Anything you can get rid of in here?
I don't have much in there.
All of the
I
officers.
was gonna go over and try to figure out what my, like, not including
Really?
employee increase was.
One sergeant, Steve Kerr.
I didn't have time to do that.
He was out in
I don't believe that.
pushing off of 76 there.
Oh, okay.
Look at the numbers.
This guy,
Valley High, you mean?
There wasn't much increase.
right here,
Oh, that, okay, out that way.
right across
Yep.
from the school.
Yep.
So the vehicle, I was
And
gonna
this
ask the
guy
vehicle
lives
registration
in
because
town.
they're gonna be marked
There's
cars
one other
that
one
they're
that,
replacing,
we got a lacrosse
There won't
officer
be-
that lives in town.
right? Was that your,
Vehicle registration.
So he just stopped to grab a pop and, oh, it's good for him.
And then he did the double.
Squad cars.
Never
they don't pay,
option you could pick so it doubles the amount.
Yeah.
pay the licensing, but not the,
Yeah, where did I see?
Some we
it?
keep the title of origin.
Well, he's gonna,
have in the past.
buy a car,
Like we've never been registered.
take a
someone-
trip. Everybody was saying, well,
They do that, did that.
he's overspent already.
Yes, I don't get that much registration.
He's not paying taxes.
They don't pay tax.
There's no tax on that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, you only
He
get
don't-
50. but-
He ain't.
As long as they're marked cars. If they're unmarked,
I don't wanna
you
pay,
pay the.
I don't wanna work. I
Right?
don't wanna pay
Next
taxes.
year's all the markets are both.
None of that. So we're good.
Where's the registration, the tax just talking about?
It decreased. You had 6,000.
I'm gonna point this out to you. I looked at this before, but Brian's his wages, health and PERA is 164.
I know, that's their major.
Of that. Actually of that. So I mean, that's the hurdle that we're dealing with.
Why we went to pay the sales tax?
It's really hard. Looking at like areas to cut.
Oh, that's the statute. Oh,
I'm not.
and you purchased outright?
We purchased it outright.
I mean, that's, and just all of this, multiple different.
Downstairs.
It's
they
all
said
wages.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a bigger one, biggest one.
But
They were
All right,
sure it was unmarked?
we'll go back into session here. So Brian,
morning.
glad you came
Morning.
back. We can start. What do you?
If you look at my budget, besides the pay and all the benefits and that, I really haven't had much increase. There was a couple losses in federal grants, of course. The boat patrol grant, which is roughly $6,000, they don't have the federal grant on that anymore, at least at this time. Also, we're told that the bulletproof vest program is not, they're not gonna have that either. Previously in the past, for all the officer deputies, body armor, the state paid half and the feds paid half. So the
who's
county
not
itself
paying?
was an expense. What's
So
that?
which half is not paying then?
Federal's not paying.
Imagine that.
State still, I still.
It's still, there's
still get a
statute on
state
that.
reimbursement, statute on that. We get a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious about. I assumed it was fed.
Aren't you all fitted with bulletproof vests now?
Yep, it's a 5-year cycle.
So
Right.
what year are you on?
Everybody's all different, so they're spread out.
Oh, okay.
Right now, if you look at it, I don't believe, I may have one guy or no one. If you look at-
Bill just submitted some for 2025, so.
Correct, for next year I'm talking about though, for the
Yeah,
budget.
so we're at a
Yeah, we're at,
no one.
and zero, should be at zero for this year. So yeah, for the vest grant, we did, must have two, so it's roughly $1,500 per vest. So, half that's, of each is $750 roughly,
750.
roughly. And like I said, the other one was the boat patrol for 5,000. I didn't have much increases or, had some decreases, we're able to move around. But yeah, didn't have any significant, I don't believe.
Did you do much with Vernon County this year, like you
That's
thought?
just what I was gonna ask.
Yep, there's, they had a deputy out there, every time we had a deputy out there on the river. So yes,
So that helped a little.
yes, we don't, bill them till probably another month or so, till we get the boat winterized and everything.
So will that help the fact that you don't have that grant anymore?
It will, we can't double dip in the state grant, of course, that's why. But
Yeah.
yes, it definitely will help, absolutely.
Brian, under your recreational safety, that's where your boat stuff is, correct?
Correct.
So you're actually $142 less, correct?
If you can find the page here.
37.
Page 47.
47. Correct. Our net is down to 287.
So I mean, that's, as far as additions or subtractions, the changes, you're basically zero or less
Yeah. It's very nominal.
without the grant.
Correct. Because Vernon County does basically help out.
Yeah, so that help, at least that
Correct.
kind of offset things for you.
Right.
And I think it's very important that we continue the water safety.
Definitely.
Yeah, and even besides the budget amount, it's a very good connection between us.
Yeah, Yeah, you guys work well together. I did note to, Eric, that just wages, health, and PERA, and I didn't add in the Minnesota paid leave of 6279 there. But that's 164,486 of his 183, so that's your majority right there. So you really haven't added much
For the whole overall budget, I don't
to your
believe so.
overall budget at all.
That's actually the right number to try to do, is figure out what minus the employee was for my total increase, but I didn't have time.
Pretty significant piece of that.
Paid leave adds up too.
What?
The required paid leave that's coming in 26 here.
Yeah, that's $6,279 on top of that 164, so that's over 170. And Medicare increased also, which is something you can't predict.
So I guess the burning question is the Spring Grove contract.
Spring Grove contract, I've had multiple meetings with the full city council, city administrator, mayor, council members. Basically, I mean, they've said over and over, they're extremely happy with our service we give them. They couldn't ask for much more. However, it's a budgetary issue. It's just that they said in the past they haven't been keeping up on the roads, repairs or replacements. So basically, they have multiple years that they're behind in the road projects. So that has to take a priority, I guess, to them. And they're taking it out of the law enforcement part of the budget. I discussed with them the long-term consequences of doing this, if they wanted to decrease their budget, and they understood. That most likely if they got rid of the contract or went down in the dollar amount in the budget and we had to go to one deputy, it'd be unlikely that we'd go back and increase it or do a contract again with them. Just because we do have time and money invested into it.
So are we offering the option to go to one deputy?
Right now, they do have, in their budget, they have the full budget for 2 deputies and everything in their budget right now.
Right.
So, they haven't voted on it. They sent out postcards in the Facebook about getting citizens' opinions. I haven't heard, the last 2 weeks ago, I heard they had like 10 backs. That doesn't really say anything. So I can't tell you where they're at for sure. We have discussed, if they, adjust their budget, they have roughly, they can possibly do, like 200 and some thousand for next year's budget and continuing. And we would be able to do something. It would really be, a discussion we need to have though. I don't like the idea, but realistically, one's better than none. Because realistically, and we have to take basically all their calls except for city ordinances and some smaller things we wouldn't be taking. That'd be on their hands. But right now, with our deputies over there, we're getting over 2 calls a day. I can't really tell you how that all breaks down though. But they are quite busy. And realistically, they're probably busier than, they're probably the 3rd busiest town realistically between Houston, Hoken, Brownsville Heights, and all of them.
Well, in that survey, they were throwing out several different options. And I was a little confused by that because there was only one option, renew the contract or that's it.
Correct. That's and that's where the contract right now is renew their contract, or they want to have a discussion about having a different contract.
I would just.
All or none.
Yeah.
And that's up to you guys, yeah.
Do you know when they'll have a decision? Because doesn't that really has a big impact on yours because those 2 deputies were hired for that contract?
Absolutely, and they understand that 100%. And hopefully that's why they're taking their time to really think about it and get input. And that's why they currently have it in their budget right now, the full amount.
And it went down from last year to this year.
Their budget amount went up. I believe our expense wise, yet, it still went up some, but not much.
They gotta pay the.
Here's what he's looking at.
secretary, part-time secretary.
125 is 402.
I don't know how their
yeah,
budget works there.
So is there a question,
That
why
might be
there's a
open.
debate on just whether or not they want to pay for
The
services or not?
2025 budget,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think there's,
budget.
How else
Yeah.
would they do it?
It's, I'm not sure I have the 402 on there. It was less than that. It was 3 something.
Well, 397 is for 2026.
Right.
402 is for this year.
Correct. I don't know why I have it at 402 for this current year.
But either way, in our budget, because they're billed for everything that we provide for them, that's why it shows 0 at the bottom line.
Right.
So that the Spring Grove contract
Because-
is not
Should be zeroing
costing
out.
us 0.
But however, like
it
squad car,
doesn't go against our levy dollars.
Right.
right. So like squad cars, I have it broken down because we don't replace squad cars every year. So we have to include that portion in the budget, but we technically didn't spend it. We're saving it to when we buy the vehicle.
And I think it should be clear that, that's why I say we should either have, it's the contract with 2 officers or there is no contract. Because if we start messing around doing like, let's say 1 deputy or part-time, we don't want to get in a position where we're subsidizing their law enforcement. You know, using our levy dollars to go compensate for some of their service.
They pay less, but same service.
I mean, that's where you're gonna run into some problems.
Right.
I'm afraid if you start negotiating on this here, that we're gonna end up paying some overage here with our levy, so.
Regardless of we have a contract or not, we're still obligated to provide them with services.
We provide service for the whole county, correct, but not specifically for Spring Grove, like
City.
ordinance enforcement and this and that.
100%.
Right, correct. Correct. And that's what their kind of discussion is. If they did, their budget wouldn't be able to handle 2 deputies. What options they'd have if they could have a different modified contract, what services that we would provide within that contract, and which ones we wouldn't.
So you should have an answer by this week. They're gonna have a meeting coming up here this week,
I believe is it tonight, I possibly believe?
tonight? So you might should have an answer by then?
Possibly.
That make quite a difference in our budget too.
I mean, then we'll have to come back, we'll have to meet again or whatever and discuss it again at our final
Yeah, because we're waiting on them
next week
basically.
meeting. We're just waiting on them to see
Yeah.
your overall budget here.
Right, because I mean, I emailed them, because I did their postcards and their posts on Facebook. My opinion was inaccurate.
Yeah.
It reflected badly on my office, because the increase that they're showing, was it 47% or something?
29
29?
was because
Not-
of the
not
Houston
from
County,
us.
it was because of the Houston County contract.
No, it
That's
was not.
ridiculous.
It's because they increased their budget for their road and something else, I believe.
Yeah, their levy went up.
They dropped the ball on their
Yes.
levy the last 2 years.
Yes, that's what one of them said, that they had a road project for one road that's been sitting for over 5 years. And they have to,
They've been raising their budget like 2% over there the
Yes.
last 3-4 years, and
so that's the problem, they need to play catch up, and
they're playing.
that's why I really pushed them, I said, just not to get rid of this,
Yeah,
and
looking for areas to
increase-
reduce, I'm sure.
more than you'd have, but
Well, like I told.
They're also trying to get into the daycare business too, so.
Have they projected where they would be at if they hadn't gone with the contract and had their own officers? Have they looked at that at all?
well, previously, they couldn't find a chief, so they
Right, but
didn't have
it's,
everybody available.
But they always budgeted roughly 300 and some, or $400,000, I believe.
When me and Sheriff Engel at the time, when they showed us their budget, I think their budget was 3-4 years ago was 400,000.
Right, for,
So
so
budget hasn't changed for them.
Yeah, so it's neutral, budget neutral.
their budget for law enforcement or
Correct.
their, okay.
For law enforcement.
for law enforcement. I mean, so it's not, yeah.
And do remember at one point, they had a chief and 2 full-time officers.
Right.
It was 3, and Brian is doing it with 2.
Right, and so we're doing it with 2 and half administrative assistant, but on the back end, I mean, there's other duties administrative wise that that me and the chief deputy and lieutenant take care of that no one sees. That's not accounted for, and I'm not sure how you could account for it necessarily.
It's hard to do that.
Commissioners entered thinking about the budget from this year, last year. The reason it went down, I just thought of this because I had the squad cars on a 5-year cycle and I changed it to an 8-year.
Oh, sure.
That's why it went down.
Okay. Well, regardless of what it was, I mean, for them, the overall, it's not like they have it, like they put a 29% increase. That's
right.
That's on them. That's not the sheriff's office increase.
And I've tried my best.
Not an accurate number.
That's a terrible number.
Right, that's very upsetting for the county. I feel like they're pointing fingers at us.
Well, that should be.
They screwed up and now they want to scapegoat and we're the ones who are gonna use.
Right, and my big issue is that they actually had a police department. Would they cut the police department to get the roads back better? I wouldn't think so, if they had their own department.
Well, I guess we'll wait and see what happens. You know, I just want to reiterate, my point of view is it's either the 2-officer contract or no contract.
How long has the contract been in place?
3 years.
3 years.
We'll do. Sit tight and
That was a 3-year contract or a yearly contract, Brian?
It was a 3-year contract.
It was.
Yep. Both of them had, both sides had a termination clause.
Oh, yeah, there's
But yes,
30,
sure.
whatever, so many days, yeah.
Right.
You can terminate.
the contract goes till the end of the year or is it done pretty quick?
Nope, it ends at the end of the year. Correct. Yeah, and I did my best to make their budget as low as I could for them. I can't get any farther down before the county starts subsidizing it, so. And I'm assuming none of them wants it, the county wants to subsidize it, so.
No, I mean, we can't, it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the
Right.
cities, no.
Then other cities want the same thing.
No, we're not gonna do that. All right.
Looks good.
Thanks, Brian.
On to the jail. Do we have contracts for next year for the juveniles or what's the?
Jail Minister Meyer's been taking care of that, and she's at a convention right now. But I do know that, I believe both the counties have reached out to us asking about next year.
Goodhue and Mauer, because they're gonna wanna know that for their budgeting process
Correct.
too.
And then we are gonna, like, I believe I told you before, that we are gonna reach out to Olmsted, because I believe their contract with, I can't remember, the other county might be up this year too.
I would get on that real quick, because they gotta set their levy too here.
And they came down and looked at our facility.
Okay,
So,
I would just follow up with them.
yep, absolutely, we are.
So I think at some point too, the board would be interested in the number of juveniles that we have, you know,
It would be nice to have a
Like a daily-
overview,
Data.
Okay.
some
daily.
data and the numbers to show what,
How much we made, how many we took?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can get that to you just on like a monthly basis.
sure.
And I don't know if you really want to add daily up every day.
No,
A
no,
monthly would be fine.
yeah, monthly of how many you,
Yeah, because we have a spreadsheet that they keep track of that on.
Seems
yeah,
like
if
Mauer
we could,
County's
if we
over
could see
here.
that and it's all confidential, we don't need to know who, we just wanna know the
Yeah.
numbers.
I mean, that's why actually like
All over.
a calendar of a month with how many juveniles you had in it each day, an average for the week and then an average for the month. Yeah.
It sounds a little bit
Something like
good, but
that.
sometimes, then how do you deal with your contract kids? Because now if you look at that, they already paid the contract.
Well,
It's like
they're
it's
part of the
things like that.
contract, so they wouldn't necessarily be the extra that we get from other counties.
Right.
I think that's kind of what we're looking
Oh,
at.
you're looking for
I would exclude the
Numbers.
contract,
Okay, excluding the
Yeah.
contract.
yeah.
Numbers would be good
Yeah.
to see.
Okay, or I'm sure that she can do both, if you want to. Right now also, I did have her checked, we have it is low for adults, we have a little over 3 a day on average.
Is that a good course?
What's the little over? No, I'm just,
I
you
can-
know, is that somebody
Yeah.
just coming in? with-
Oh, no, it's just like 3 point something, I'm saying,
I'm just giving you.
yeah, we had a half a
They
person.
just have their arm in, you know?
Yeah.
They're just getting close and we're gonna.
I'm glad you brought that up, Carol, about getting those
Yeah.
numbers on
Yeah.
that juvenile thing.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem at all,
Okay,
as long as we don't give names or anything like that.
yep,
All right, thank you.
all right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, Now we're gonna revert back to number 6, consider initiating a competitive search of a 1 FTE Public Health and Human Service Department social worker. Brent.
Morning.
Morning.
All right, so this is back in, coming back from the last time that was tabled as far as filling the social worker out of our public health. I had John and his team kind of filled out some information that was handed out to you for kind of a justification for the position. This is just a second go around, ask questions or go through the justifications or if there's anything the board needed prior to conducting a search, or if you'd like to conduct a search at all.
We have a little additional information too. Commissioner Wright had some follow-up questions. And so the form that you got that we're kind of kicking around being kind of a form for all departments when they're adding a position or replacing a vacancy. And so that's what we use for this. This is what's in your packet. But Commissioner Wright had some additional questions.
And they did get that too. I did forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, forward your response.
Got that.
Yes, yep, this morning, yep.
Just
So,
didn't come in till 8-something this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Got a chance to dig into
If
it.
you'd like, we could walk through those if you haven't had a chance to look at it.
That would be great, good place to start, don't you think? I don't, because this is basically an add-on to information from the
Right.
request previously, right?
So, one of the questions was there a specific ratio recommended or required? Well, we're required to do the service. The state doesn't require a specific ratio. And a number of our programs that we're required to do don't have required caseload ratios. They have recommendations. And in this case, it was noted when we just had our lead agency review, so all the programs we do get periodically reviewed by the state. They were here, what, about a month and a half ago?
July, yep.
July, okay. And it was noted that they typically see caseloads less than 50 with the additional duties that our case managers have. Our current caseloads with this position are in the under 65 team where this person is, they range from 60 to 70. So we don't have a ratio specific that is sent to us from the state. And unfortunately, we don't have the final report from the state yet either. We go back and forth on different things and finalize that report. We're still waiting to see that. Typically, that takes a period of time.
60 days to do it from our final remediation, so we'll probably see it early November, end of October.
There's a question as to whether we had wait times or how long clients are waiting. Typically for our under 65, it's roughly 2 months. As somebody's coming in, it takes about 2 months for us to get to those folks. Again, with current staffing, that would be including the position that we're talking about. That is something that's been in place for, how long have we had a bit of a delay like that?
Since our previous employer retired last September, we had to start a wait list, so it's been a few months now that we've been working on one. It ebbs and flows, it's not continuously 2 months, but we're seeing an increase of clients calling in and wanting assessments, and so we've had to push it out. Not to say everyone waits 2 months, but that's what we're giving to give ourselves that leeway so that we have time, because our current cases to justify that. So you'll see that extend once this retirement happens, and we're covering down those cases as well, so.
As far as revenue, the impact on revenue, I'm gonna take a run at this and correct me if I'm misstating, but
Yeah.
some of this, again, is kind of related to the information we got from the state. If you're at a caseload of about 50 or so, the state is seeing closer to 100 units billed per client for case management. We are well below that. We're at about 55 units. So reducing staff from where we currently are would reduce the amount of billing we could do for case management. It's important to note that there are certain requirements like the Min Choices assessments that we have to do. And that's a very in-depth, time-consuming assessment. And those we don't get reimbursement for, but the case management activities we do. And so if we are putting more of those assessments on a smaller group of people, we would have less for the case management. You'd have a lesser service to people we're serving, and also we generate less revenue. So that's kind of the sense of that. Is that accurate? So that's kind of the impact on revenue. I feel badly when I come up here and talk to you guys about revenue because it's almost like every program has a little different dance for revenue. Have we explored restructuring and redistribution? Redistribution of cases is some of what we experienced when we were down due to a retirement a year and a half ago. And that kind of led to the beginning of a wait list. As far as considering job duties, across our agency, we have implemented case aids to be able to do things that you wouldn't necessarily need to be a social worker for, or an eligibility worker, or child support officer, those kinds of things. We have one case aide in public health, and 0.51 of her FTE is supporting this. We're also changing some of the intake stuff to have that person do some of that. But the other half of her job is supporting our family health units in public health. Anything else you want to add to that?
Just when we talked about the retirement and how we shift duties, I do have 8 staff that work in home and community-based services, but the waivers are different. And so we divided in under 65, over 65. And so when an under 65 staff leaves, that caseload is spread amongst the 3 remaining in the under 65 team. To spread it across the 8 they're different. It's different work, it's different case management, and so that's why we don't spread it amongst 8. The other team, the over 65, takes on the intake and takes the tasks that they can do to support the under 65 team, or whichever team is losing that staff. But the wealth of knowledge you'd need to cover all waivers in that time period is too much. But that's not to say they don't support and help whichever team, but that's how we've done it, and that's how it works for us. But when we have to cover down like that, you see a case, they'll go from 65 to 85 months that are covered. And clients are getting just what's needed, and that's what we can offer, and then our wait list gets longer. So to make that a caseload official, that would be very, very tough to have a caseload of 80. That'll be what it would look like if you don't refill this position. So
the other thing I'd say is, another restriction essentially is for the under 65 team, specifically for individuals with developmental disabilities and waivers they're receiving through the DD waiver. You need to have a 4-year degree to be able to do those assessments. 2 of our nurses on the over 65 team are RNs, and they do a marvelous job for us, but they're 3-year RNs. And so some of the nuances of the different programs we do in waiver case management also determine what we can and can't do with the team. Additionally, I mentioned earlier that, it suggests, summarizing state review results and adding information. As we have that information and data, we'll certainly share it. But all indications we've received from the people who did the review is that they felt that under our current structure with this position, they're concerned that we're understaffed. We are not in a position yet to be able to come forward to the board and say we need to add there. We want to see the data they have and try and make a case for that, show what the revenue would pencil out. Bottom line, what I would say is if you are looking for a reduction from Public Health and Human Services, we did make a reduction of 1 case aide in our Economic Assistance Division. If you need another one, I wouldn't start here. This is a position that I think we would really suffer if we did not replace the position.
Where would you start?
If you're asking me to do that, I would do that work, but I'm not prepared to say, go here or there. I'm just saying I would not start here.
So,
Go ahead.
so you did these comparisons here, you found those, or was
I did.
Brent? You did, okay.
They're
So-
from other lead agency reviews, and so the piece is that all agencies do them a little bit different, so I tried to break it down for how many clients they have to how many staff they have, but again, it's what all does a case manager do and what does their workload look like, too, you have to take into account when you're reviewing some of that, so.
So you have a little caveat to our numbers for 444 individuals, but it doesn't, this also includes non-waiver clients. Can you explain that? I mean, because other ones don't have that little,
It's just how we break it down. Ours is just think of it as home and community-based services clients,
444.
We're at like 465 now, since I've done the review, or 460, but, yep.
Every county, we were talking about it a little bit earlier this morning, and one of the, I think, positive things of being a county-operated, state-supervised state is that each county can kind of design services within kind of a framework that best meet the needs that they have in their specific county. In states where it's kind of a state office, you kind of have to put your foot into a state-sized shoe. The downside to that is comparability is kind of difficult because there are different nuances to populations, different historical things that counties have done and their constituents have grown accustomed to. So there's some comparability, but I urge a little bit of caution in looking at comparing. They're not exactly apples to apples.
Yeah, and that, just one thing about the spreadsheet that we were given, probably the 8 counties comparison of the population, which is great to compare the number of human services or public health social workers within those counties. It, you know, when you look at that data, we're looking at more in Houston County, social workers in those areas than some of the counties that even have a higher population. So the case breakdown is good to see because it also looks like that, and these are different counties that you provided the most recent data on this morning. I don't see many of these listed on that first original. The counties that we got that had the population, I don't see the caseload. But what Eric was just talking about was a different document, different counties listed. That would be helpful to see because, and also just to, you know, to mention that thank you for expanding your answers, expounding on that because the idea behind these justification forms is to give us more data and say, not just have you say, because we need it. You know, we don't want to, this is our current process and the way we do things in our department. And so it's to just prompt a way of thinking about doing things a little differently, you know, and also like covering admin areas with admin staff and just looking at those positions. And it sounds like you're justifying that you currently do that. So you're kind of guinea pig for this new process. But I think that, you know, objective decision-making when we have these positions is the best way to go because it's not, then we're not just plugging in where we're seeing a retirement or a reduction in staff and saying, okay, we'll just fill that without thinking about how can we do things differently in each department. So thank you for that. And as far as, you know, the review that you had, the state review, that's helpful to know why they say, it's helpful to know their response as far as when they talk to you about, is your coverage not where it should be for whatever reason, because you have a higher population of clients, the population is higher. You know, anything that we can gather and learn from that it's helpful for me to learn anyway. I'm not speaking for everybody else here.
One question, Commissioner Wright. You mentioned a spreadsheet. I'm not sure which spreadsheet.
That was the one I talked to you about, the social workers comparison. That,
Oh,
the apples to apples social workers one,
That you did?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's the one that has.
Looks like this. It's just a very, basic spreadsheet as far as the county, how many workers and then population served.
Yeah.
So you have a combined, like we're a public health social worker versus a human services social worker. So like Houston County has 15 for the human services versus 4 for public health. And we'll just go with some of you have any on. I'll pull this up. Winona County, Nobles County above Winona County there, they don't have any listed underneath the public health social worker. So are they utilizing the same people or why are they doing it with a higher, and quite a significant higher population with the 4 less?
And one thing that I found out kind of going through that and looking at, I remember we talked about, you want to kind of look at those numbers. One thing I noticed is every county that I kind of ran into did things just starkly different. And so they might not have social workers doing case managements. They had nurses doing case management. So they would have less social workers here, but more nurses there, or more social workers here and less nurses there. So every county was just extremely different on how they structured everything.
And their waivers also can sit in human services, so we have DD sitting in our public health department. Some counties do DD waivers in their social services department, and so that shifts staff from public health staff. So that's why it's hard to compare what you're looking at from county to county.
Makes sense.
But do we look at the possibility of doing it the same way they do to try and streamline it better?
I don't know that we'd necessarily streamline it, because if they've got nurses doing what we have social workers doing,
But we do too.
Right. But I think it's, back up a step. Some of it too is related to if you have a combined public health and human services, if you have a combined home and community-based services. That's what I was trying to say earlier, that, if you compare one county to another, you need to look at the total number of people who are doing that work. Some may be nurses, some may be social workers.
Right. I guess the point I'm getting at is just because we've always done it that way, do we need to always do it that way?
We haven't always done it that way. That happened when we merged the 2 departments several years back and combined our home and community-based services. So that actually isn't a long-term thing that we've always done. I don't know, we'd have to do some analysis, but I don't think we would have a reduction in the number of people that you would have doing this, whether we call them a nurse or a social worker. They're banded similarly. An RN is banded the same as a social worker. A public health nurse is 1 band above. And a public health nurse requires a 4-year degree, So I don't know that we would be able to say, well, if we shift this to more nurses, it wouldn't be necessarily a reduction in the number of people that we need to cover the caseload. Is that
correct?
Accurate?
Yep.
But it does kind of make it confusing as you're trying to compare different counties, because there are many different ways that they cover their caseload.
I would talk about systems too, and us having our nurses are in one system, which is beneficial for them for their time reporting pieces, for the way they code their things, and my social workers are in a different system. So it's also crossing over when you have coverage like that to learn a new, like that piece also plays into some of that. Not the long-term talking about switching, that I'm just saying that's also part of the coverage piece and why we have to do it the way we do it currently.
When you have the state review, did they ask you as far as like the role and I am assuming when you have a role for social work, nursing within public health too, that there are certain requirements, the position requirements, like you need a nurse or you need somebody with a certain background? Because in some of these counties, what I'm thinking of listening to you say that, it sounds like maybe they are using the staff that's available or that apply for the job in those roles where they might be able to get them. Because sometimes that's our issue is, people don't apply for the position. It's not that they're not qualified necessarily, but maybe there's different qualifications depending on how you change that role. So does the state actually dictate in some of these roles what's required?
They don't, other than what I mentioned with
Okay.
DD. I think there's benefit to having both nurses and social workers. And one of the benefits that we felt when we combined home and community-based services and merged the two departments was having kind of an interdisciplinary approach to that. So while they don't all manage all of those, they support each other as a team. And for instance, you may have an over 65 case where they're struggling with some mental health types of things that maybe a social worker on the team could provide some context and support. You may have somebody who has a DD waiver or a CADI waiver that is also experiencing, they're getting older and some of the things that potentially physical concerns that an RN or a nurse would provide. So that's what we were driving at with having an interdisciplinary team, and I think we benefited from that. But the state doesn't say, hey, you can only have this or that. With the exception of the DD program, you need to be a 4-year person. So I think we could have a public health nurse who's 4-year do those. But yeah, they don't specify and say you should only do this with a social worker or only do this with a nurse.
John, do you know out of the 8 on this the spreadsheet, 3 of them are combined? Do you know how long that they've been combined? Like Steel?
We're talking about the Min Prairie, that what I was asking. Hold on here.
So combined with Dodge and Steele, Waseca County, combined with
3 out of the
Faribault.
8 that
Yeah.
are combined.
In Prairie is a combined human services, multi-county human services, and the history of that goes back to the Palenti administration. When Tim Palenti was the governor, there was a move to regionalize human services across the state. And so there were different places in the state that kind of got together and considered that. In southeast Minnesota, there were a number of counties, and I think even Houston considered that at one point. In the end, those 3 counties, Waseca, Steele, and Dodge, formed Min Prairie. There's a few other places where there's multi-county human services. That's different than what we've done, which is combining 2 departments in our county public health and human services. I would say that goes back to sometime during that Palenti administration, early 2000s, perhaps. Oh, thank you.
What was that, Karen?
2013. 2013. Right now, it may be worth noting too that all indications are that Steele County is pulling out of Min Prairie. And there are inherent challenges where, smaller counties connected with larger counties. Is the larger county carrying the smaller county? Is the smaller county getting value for their residents, access to places that are further distances, things like that. Those are things I've heard that have been kind of an ongoing debate in some of those multi-county human service areas.
Just in reading some of our county news and some of that, a lot of the different areas are trying to look to merge services, and, is that something maybe we need to look into a little bit more too, or you don't think that is viable for us?
I haven't done a lot of research on it.
They recommend it, so.
Neighboring counties often share.
Look into that.
Yeah, when I talked to John, I was asking him questions yesterday because we were found that, and also like Martin and Faribault. Is it Faribault? Faribault. I always say it right.
Faribault.
They're together, and so when I started reaching out to their HR, just asking questions, like, we don't have any. We have this, like, for example, we don't have any social workers because we're part of this group that takes care of that. So I was really kind of interested. And then I was asking John if it was similar to like let's say like Fillmore. I know we have a joint board of health with the Fillmore, and so I was asking some questions on that, and didn't necessarily know if those two things were like similar or had kind of some overlap, and then just at one time that Houston and Fillmore just decided to have their own separate departments, but had a financial gap of it. But that was just a lot of the public health side of it, so they were able to explain that.
Yeah, the Community Health Board, and you guys are kind of familiar with that, we need to have a population of 30,000 to be able to access the state funds. And
That's why
so
we have a community.
That's why we have the Community Health Board, so That being said, we really have two separate public health departments in each county. We cooperate and coordinate and collaborate with all kinds of counties throughout the region, as we do with Fillmore, but it isn't kind of a combined thing other than we come together to allocate the resources that come to the Community Health Board, which is for two counties.
And a lot of those combined counties all had their own public health, but it was just the human services that was combined with other counties.
I'm not familiar, I'd have to look, I'm not at the top of my head familiar of counties that have combined public health and human services across multiple counties. But definitely there are instances of human services being across different counties. And some of the things that drove the development of community health boards for more than one county worked really well in some places. I think Faribault Martin's a good example of that. Just historically, they work really closely together, and they kind of almost have one agency in that CHB, where others aren't necessarily like that.
So you didn't get Fillmore County's numbers?
I do have Fillmore County's numbers, they're just not in that report. They have 800 clients in home and community-based services and 14 staff. They have 6 under 65 team. Well, if you're comparing it to ours, they have 3 that do DD case management, 3 that do CADI, so that would be our under 65 team, and then 6 that do over 65, and then they have case aides to support. That does not include it in the 14, or in the, and 2 case aides.
And that's across, some of those are human services employees.
DD sits in human services.
And some are public health.
Your comments, you mentioned that it took 3 months to fill the last position when you had a retirement last year. Due to lack of applications, was that just the process delay in HR, or what was that all about?
You know, that's an interesting question. Some of our recruitments, we can put something out and be really disappointed because we have a very small or even 0 applicants.
Right.
And then we re-advertise, kind of do the same thing. Well, let's try again. And then we get applicants. I don't know, sometimes the applicant pool is just really weird.
Yeah.
I think, you know, under Brent's leadership, I feel like we're streamlining some of our processes. I don't think as much of it is related to internal things. As we've had openings, we bring them to the board to get approval, and I feel like we're working well with humans, or with human resources in moving that process along. But it's just really hard to predict what kind of tool you're gonna get.
Okay.
Sometimes I wish I could stockpile them, because you have, you know, a handful of really quality candidates for this one, and you have to say no to some of them. And you wish you had some of those people when you have a pool down the road.
And I think too, that might have been too with John's talking about sometimes when they HR would advertise, you get more. You know, looking back at some of the past practices, there was a very much inconsistent way of how those advertisements would be made. So sometimes it'd just be very local, sometimes it'd be more broad. So there wasn't like, you know, every time a position opens up, these are the places we're gonna advertise, and very consistent. So that very well may have been the up and down of what applications are coming.
I'm just asking because we don't know, you know, if we should keep pushing this forward faster, because we might have a delay, and it sounds like the case managers covered that caseload, those clients during that time.
I would say 3 months was actually a pretty good time frame. You get 3 weeks of running an application, 2 weeks to do interviews, and then 30-day notice at their previous employer. You're already at little over 2.5 months anyway. So 3 months is, if you don't post it right away, if we wait, I mean, we're lucky to get a notice on this one. So.
Oh, sure, and it's all about the timing.
Correct.
I might have a holiday or 2 in there, and you know,
yes,
people don't apply or something. Yeah. So I'm just asking because of the just, you know, the professional need, and I don't know what the call for social workers is right now within their setting. So I'm just asking, you know, our potential of getting candidates for this position, is it going to be beneficial to push it forward, or, you know, what do we want to do with that? And that, I'm thinking that might be why some other counties have had to shift duties around, possibly, just because they might not have had the
the candidate pool.
That could be, I know I've talked with my colleagues over the last couple of years that pools have been really small. And I would say that we've seen a reduction in our pools as well, but also kind of more where we have small pools, but solid people within the pool.
Sure.
And I don't know if that's due to our proximity to La Crosse. It's hard to know. We haven't done a lot of analysis on that, but we haven't been in a position where, with the exception, as we were looking to fill nurse positions last year, that was the longest recruitment that we've experienced. And then again, it was one of those where it's like, man, we're just struggling to get any applicants, and then out of the blue, we get a bunch.
Was one of your strategy goals or
Yeah.
strategic goals for public health too, is to have awareness and have
Right.
people go into that for a
Right.
career.
Talking about that, in secondary education, making better connections with our post-secondary institutions, both in Winona, in La Crosse, Decorah, those kinds of places that are training nurses and social workers. I think we're starting to make some progress there. But I wouldn't say that we've changed dramatically our structure because we just can't find people.
Okay.
So is Fillmore County at full capacity with their human services and public health social workers? Or do they have any openings?
I don't know. Do you know?
You mean, are they hiring new positions? I believe
Well,
they just added one.
in looking at the chart here, that they've got 3 less in M2 titles than what we have of what you're asking us to fill. So you're talking about people being less, et cetera. Populations are, they're a little bit more, et cetera. We don't know exact caseload, but they got 3 additional full-time people in that position. I'm curious if, we have 3 more than what they do. Are they running at full capacity, or have they shortened theirs?
Their client
positions.
population is higher, isn't it? Didn't you say it was 800 and something and ours is 400 and something?
They're dealing with less people.
I just heard.
They're dealing with more people,
I
according
just
to
heard-
population
yes.
served.
They're not,
Higher
they're
population.
not dealing with less staff than we are. Fillmore is not dealing with less staff. What you've got is the social workers.
Social worker,
That
and
would
then it
include
says
the-
number of public health social workers, number of human services social worker.
Yep.
And that's the position that's listed here on number 6 is for public health and human services social worker.
Correct,
So
because,
that's the position that you're asking us to fill.
yes,
When I'm looking at their numbers versus our numbers, their
include-
population versus our population.
we'd have to add
I just got a hard time with this.
yep.
What was their client number? Didn't you mention that?
Fillmore has 800 clients in their home and community-based services. They have 3 DD, 3 CADI, 6 over 65 waiver. So they have 12 case managers for the 8, plus 2 case aides doing their work, and an intake, like an assessor.
And I think that,
Yours is doing the human services when you're asking for social workers. You also have the human services. Fillmore is separate. They have their public health division and their human services division. And so their human services is, they have social workers in their human services department. So those are included in that spreadsheet. We didn't include our human services social workers. That would be Bethany's division. I believe that's where they are getting, does that make sense?
Actually makes it seem like we've got more. And this already
Yeah.
shows them having more, so.
Well, I was just talking about the client base. I thought we had 400 and something.
We have 460
Compared to their
community
800.
services clients.
I think.
And
we
8
might
staff.
Combine stuff here a little bit more.
They got 800, we only got 4.
They have,
That's including the numbers you're looking at there, if I understand, is we also have social workers that aren't counted in the number that we're talking about that is for child protection, children's mental health, adult mental health, those types of things. And so that's the danger in looking kind of between different counties is your models are different. And so if you're looking at home and community-based services, that's what Jordan's saying, and trying to ferret out, they have some social workers that do the DD waiver stuff that are in their social services department, not in public health.
But they provide the same services between both counties.
Correct.
who does?
Services provided by Houston County versus the services provided by Fillmore County.
Correct.
Okay.
Or that caseload.
So we still should be able to do comparatisms if they're providing the same service.
We just need the right
We need the
data.
right numbers. It seems like we're kind of getting
Yeah, and that's one thing when I, even me started looking into this, because I'll be quite honest with you, I was just about as confused as everybody else. It's like, if you were to say, how many deputies does Fillmore have and how many deputies does Houston have, that's a very apples to apples comparison. They do the same thing. The job is very specific. So coming back to the social workers aspect of it, yeah, the social workers, you can do a comparative apples to apples on how many social workers you have, but then there is so many other variables about public health and human resources being separate, nurses taking on case management and having less social workers, and vice versa. It was every single county was a different model, different structure. It's how they were just operating, which makes that very difficult.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is maybe we need to look at the structure versus what some of the other counties are doing that provide the same service.
I agree with that.
Good point.
Yep, that's why these questions I think are important, and
The more we dig into this,
Yeah.
the more I think we need to dig into it more myself.
I would really like to see the state review report, and hopefully they'll come back with that soon.
So what do
It's been a
you,
month.
so what do you guys want to do then? Because, the action is to consider initiating a competitive search for a.
Exactly, that's the action items put on there, and literally last week, they had the same request that was motion made and passed to get more information on it in a week. And some of the information we didn't get until 8:26 or whatever time that email came in this morning. So I myself don't think we have the information yet. We tabled it last month to get more information and look into it further, and I think that should.
You want to table it again?
I would like to get this information combined somehow, because in our conversation here, it's, getting into the details, but I think we're talking about some different things. So maybe if we can just have a discussion on it further, because we have to start somewhere with evaluating the positions and not just plug and play, like I said last week too. So, and I have to say that I'm a person that really needs to know the objective data, not just that this delays us, or just answers to the questions as far as if we don't hire for this position, what happens is basically what I'm after. So maybe we could, at least have some time to look at this.
Yep. So is that agreed upon the table?
Yep.
Is that okay?
More information.
All right. We'll table it and that way you can absorb the new information we got this morning and answer any other questions we have that we produced today.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay?
Thank you.
And I do want to actually throw out there real quick about that information. That was on.
Make it more complicated.
No, that was on me. I had a dentist appointment yesterday
We can blame you
afternoon.
for it, Yep.
And so when I got back in this morning, I seen it and forwarded that to you. So the fact that you got that this morning is on me. So I apologize.
Okay. Regardless, it came at the time.
Sure.
it came.
Yep. No, I didn't want it to feel like that they gave that to me this morning.
And
So
one thing I would ask, if we could look at this, is the information that Jordan put together with the population and the numbers served. It'd be great to have that on the counties that we just looked at with the spreadsheet, because it sounded like we had two different spreadsheets or pieces of information, so that'd be good. Because, and, to understand that, yes, the structure is different, but maybe we should look at why it's different and what's more effective.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. You want to proceed into discussion items, or do we want to go into closed session here? Sue, how are you coming for time there?
Wants to get going.
What's that?
She probably wants to get going. We should do that first, probably.
All right, we'll, let me see, just a minute. We'll proceed with a closed session pursuant to 13D05 subdivision 1D, attorney-client privilege to seek legal advice on an application regarding the approval or denial process of recommendations issued by the planning commission previously. So, is there a motion to do that?
So move.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. All right, made a motion to come out of closed session, and Commissioner Myrie seconded it. And County Attorney Bublitz will have a statement.
Yes, we closed this session pursuant to the attorney-client privilege under Minnesota statutes, section 13D point.
Would you speak in the speaker, that guy?
.05, subdivision 1D. This was not recorded according to the statute. The discussion was understanding and approving statute number 342.22, subdivision 5, regarding the Planning Commission and the Office of Cannabis Management.
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Repeat the whole thing?
No, just that last part after section.
Okay.
After section 5.
So the statute I referred to was 342.22, subdivision 5, and that's the Office of Cannabis Management statute. And we talked about that and enforcing it, understanding the statute, and applying the statute as far as the Planning Commission and the Cannabis Management.
So it's just cannabis, okay.
Yes.
Cannabis management.
All the cannabis.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will proceed with the remainder of the agenda. Carol, you want to bring up anything else?
Well, we did talk this
Oh.
morning, some about the Able building and presenting some information, finding some information and presenting
Okay.
budgets, yeah.
Okay. I have nothing to add to today. Like we discussed everything thoroughly. Commissioner Wright, what do you have?
Oh, let's see. Several meetings. I had some events with some of the committees. I'm trying to run through here. I don't think there's anything that I haven't shared. The one meeting that we had about the gravel race was the only one, the information that I wanted to bring back this week, so.
You gonna pop on the other one, Cindy?
What's that?
Are you gonna pop on the upcoming one too?
Oh, yes, tomorrow. Yep,
I'm gonna try to, but.
okay. Yeah, it's good to keep up on what's happening, and that is this weekend, so
Yep,
we'll see
yep.
what happens.
I too was in last week. I was in a meeting with La Crescent and Explore Lacrosse in Minnesota on the Gravel Cup thing too, on a Zoom meeting, so, and Brian gave a good overview of where we're at right now. Mayville Township's concerns have been addressed, so.
Okay.
Commissioner Zender.
ECB and Region 9 and safety will be all next month, so I'll have more to report then.
Okay. Commissioner Schultz.
Oh, I have lacrosse landfill, whatever, board tomorrow. And then that other one, but if I'm done, I'll be able to get on that Zoom. If not, Cindy will have it, so.
Yep.
And then we had, I think we touched on it a little bit, Parks Committee with the Wildcat stuff, that went fairly well, so. Personnel after this, and on to you, Greg.
Oh, you touched on it. We had the Wildcat lottery drawing last Wednesday night. I think everything went pretty fair.
Okay.
Do we want to change anything in it? I would maybe say we should draw the numbers out of out of a bucket of balls or something, because they drew envelopes out of a little box. A couple times she picked up, two were stuck together, so then she threw both of them back in. So, and then she drew another one. I think it'd be just more fair if we did the.
We number the envelopes and then number the balls, I'd give it two.
Get ourselves a little tumbler and all that stuff, just like the Powerball, yeah, okay.
That's a good idea.
We had one lady that come running up here was.
A jar would be sufficient. Crank on the tumbler there. Okay, anything else?
That's all I got on that.
Yep.
All right. Any closing public comment? Come forward.
Steve Hartwick, a resident of Money Creek Township for over 50 years, or right about 50 years. First thing is, it occurred to me with the cannabis fencing is, I know it's gonna be reapplied or applied individually, but you could have had a 6-foot fence and then made 2 feet of barbed wire, and the barbed wire wouldn't be visible from the road either. So that might be another option for you guys to think about. My main reason I'm here is regarding the access to State Highway 16 by the Claire Olson property. It's west of Houston, down by the golf course down there. The access to State Highway 16 for a field drive, which means seasonable and tractors, was approved at the end of 2023. And there was also some mention made of a possible home build. On September 12th, that's the end of last week of this year, a locate ticket was applied for by Bruning, or G Squared, I'm not sure who did the application, from Asen Tech for the 17th of September for a locate ticket. And then the Bruning crew showed up on the 12th, same day, with a bulldozer and started working without a locate ticket. Now, might have to get my glasses on here. Their actions threatened to expose a cable that exists there. And that cable has fiber optic, which is 911 involved, and also to the cell towers. So this would have affected La Crescent, Spring Grove, Houston, a lot of other different towns if they had busted that out without having done the proper location device procedures. An after-hours deputy, 177, was called to report on the pipeline safety at that time. Bruning had no report log, and they also had no signage placement on a corridor of traffic, which is required by them when they're doing this kind of operation. And that's just a couple of violations that they managed to accomplish. The access was to be installed on the west side of the property, and instead is being installed on the east side near Culvert. So I don't know why that got changed, and I don't know if there was any approval for that to be changed. The access is supposed to be 150 feet from another driveway, and where they put it in is only 75 feet from an already existing access road. So, you know, it seems to me that Bruning is kind of bulldozing through the laws here, and I think some curbing should be done to their efforts until they can get their ducks in line. That's probably enough about that. The other thing I wanted to address was on the planning and zoning, is there 5 members on that? How many, planning and zoning has 5 members? 7? Okay. 3 of those members are from Yucatan Township. Feldmeyer, Gosted, and Hahn. I can remember, it had to be more than 6 years ago, after Weiser had kind of been on there for years and years for an extended stay, they kind of tried to revise how the planning and zoning was going to be composed. First of all, I think there was term limits involved at that time. And I think also that they were trying to get some diversity of different townships on the board. And I just think this club from Yucatan is inappropriate.
Just want to state on that, serving on the planning commission has been a lot of responsibility and tough work.
Yep, I know you're on it now, right?
Right, just because I'm a member of the county board,
Right.
I serve as the representative for that, but it's hard to get applicants that want to do that. So we try to get applicants from other districts, other areas to spread it out.
Yep.
Sometimes we can't get that done and we have to take what we can get.
That's not a highly recommended.
If you can't get no other applicants, what do you do?
Yeah, I know.
So you end up with getting, like you said, 3 from Yucatan, because there was nobody from Wilmington or Crooked Creek or wherever that wanted to apply. Because
it's
an
hard.
application process, it's an interview process, and then it comes to the board for a vote, and it's a term limited process. That's, like you said, it got all changed back 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
During the frac sand debate.
And everywhere it's hard to get help these days, right?
There's no volunteers.
I sat on the planning board.
Yeah.
I have property in rural La Crescent, so the township and the city of La Crescent. And the one member that we obviously have to appoint them. sometimes their address is one thing, but also their knowledge and some things that they possibly add to that board is also weighed when we appoint to that board ultimately. But yeah, I agree. I think it's difficult when there's very few applicants, but that's definitely a consideration.
Kind of like a township, when you get on a township, you can't get off.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Would you like to come forward?
I'm just saying something, there were other people who applied,
There were other people from,
very capable people.
I don't know anything about that, so I can't address that.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. So same sign.